chilly night in the Steel City, but the cold winter winds have brought championship hopes back to Pittsburgh. The red carpet gets rolled out for Friday night duels. First place on the line inside the Peterson Event Center. North Carolina Pitt in a battle of ACC unbeatens. UNC fresh off victories over Duke and Virginia. Pitt coming off maybe their biggest win in recent years last week, knocking off number 7 Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. And a pleasant good evening. Sean Kinney alongside former UVA wrestler, 10-year Division I official Rock Harrison. Great to have you with us. Rock, it's been a while for these two teams since they've been atop the regular season standings in the ACC. For Pitt, they won it in 2014. For UNC, you have to go back to 2002.
It's been a while for both teams, but Pitt came off a dominating win against Virginia Tech with a couple falls. They are not as surprising to be in first place. UNC's 2-0, looking to find out if they are the real deal and top team in the ACC.
Two stars will meet for the very first time at 141. Cole Matthews, a returning All-American, gets his first crack at our friend from north of the border, Toronto native Lachlan McNeil.
McNeil is the real deal. He wants to win and win right now. Cole Matthews has spent some time as a top-ranked wrestler in the nation. He wants to win the national championship, and this is how he's going to start with it.
There will be one unbeaten team in the ACC after tonight. UNC has had the edge in this series. They'll look for their 8th straight win over Pitt.
At Metro, you can save even more than before. Get a free Samsung Galaxy 5G with 50-megapixel quad camera. And with a phone like that, you can share even more family moments. Only at Metro.
Wow. Mia, can you send me that? Sure.
Mia, can you send me that?
Mia, can you send me that?
Hey, can you send me that? Sure.
Scott grew up less than an hour away from Pittsburgh, the Waynesburg, Pennsylvania native. 8th year in Chapel Hill, 4-time All-American wrestling for John Smith at Oklahoma State. Keith Gavin over in eastern Pennsylvania, Factoryville, PA. What a job he has done. Year 6 here at Pitt, the school where he won a national championship back in 2008. 197 is where we are going to start. It was North Carolina's choice. They won the flip. And the Tar Heels say, let's send out Max Shaw. His opponent will be Nino Bonacorsi. 2-time defending ACC champion Bonacorsi, known for his offense. The 4-time NCAA qualifier to try to get Pitt rolling tonight against the redshirt sophomore. A homecoming for Max Shaw as he gets to wrestle in the city that he grew up.
And immediately you got to wonder, coming on a homecoming, first match, are the nerves there? But these guys have been wrestling for a while, so they shouldn't be too nervous.
It's go time when you look at Max Shaw, the NCAA qualifier 2 years ago. He missed out last season.
Well, we're seeing good hand fight, clubbing, trying to just feel their opponent out, seeing how they're reacting. We call these little data moves, just collecting data to see what's going to happen moving forward.
Bonacorsi so close to winning a national championship a couple of years ago. Had the great run, won his first 4 matches at nationals as the number 6 seed, 36-7. He's always had the high volume, the big arsenal of offense.
You're right, but he's also said that because he's gotten a little bigger, he's become a little more selective. He can't shoot as much as he did when he's a 184-pounder.
Shaw trying to find a leg, unable to do so. Approaching the halfway point of this first period, no score. Opening weight tonight, first place on the line in the ACC.
Starting to wonder, what made Coleman Scott decide to start at 197 where you're going against a national finalist as the first match.
And we weren't sure who North Carolina would roll out tonight. Shaw has the experience. You see Bonacorsi take a shot. Cade Loud, redshirt freshman, has also got some reps of late. So they still have open competition here when you look at it from the Tar Heel perspective. Out of bounds they go. Scott watching intensely, hoping his troops can get off to a quick start tonight.
Max Shaw's done a good job of holding position, staying right in there, hand fighting with Nino, but Nino's starting to shoot a little more.
Fingers.
So now Nino's got to that single. He shot double, now he's got the single in. He's getting what's called caught chasing behind. He's starting to reach to get the takedown. He's going to try and lift that leg up and reach across for the far ankle. There's the control right there. Typical Nino Bonacorsi. He went for a double, got a good sprawl by Shaw, locked a single, and reached across for the double.
Bonacorsi gets the takedown, and now with 24 seconds, let's see if Shaw can figure out a way to get out from underneath.
It is important that Shaw try to get some points on the board.
On a real explosive start underneath by Shaw. Bonacorsi.
You hear the official say, keep that leg. He had the four fingers kind of bent in the back.
1001.
Corsi taking away the ankle. He knows just how much time's left, and he will ride out Shaw. A late takedown. And Pitt goes into the second period on top, 2-0. When you take a look at the rankings here in the ACC, Bonacorsi headlining the pack. The big, tall Isaac Trumbull ranked 9th, and then Andy Smith, who has improved, and Michael Batista trying to get things done in Charlottesville.
Those are some good wrestlers at 197 for the ACC.
Shaw, a wrestling family. His father, Christian, wrestled at Clarion. Bonacorsi is away quickly. 11 seconds in, he gets the escape.
Now, Sean, this is an important part of the match because if Shaw gets a takedown from UNC, he closes the gap, obviously. But if Nino gets the points here and scores, then he can start looking for bonus points.
Long-range shot by Bonacorsi. Shaw jumping on the front headlock, keeping his toes in bounds, working near the edge, and now the momentum carries both wrestlers out.
So let's see if Nino goes back to that double. He goes double, and when he can't get the double, he easily goes to the single, and he's very efficient finishing from a single. But one thing he's doing, he's pushing. He's pushing the action. And Max Shaw hasn't done a good job of exposing himself, meaning just at least attempting a shot. Nino has been the one that's more offensive. Max Shaw's got a circle, his back is to the outside. That's not good optics to the officials saying, look, we see one guy just pushing, and there's the stall call, right on cue.
Just as they tag Shaw with the stall, Bonacorsi fired. Similar position near the edge. Shaw trying to stick in the whizzer. Bonacorsi so crafty in these positions, and he latches up the two. Similar spot to what we saw in the first period.
Bonacorsi has gone to a double. When he has not hit the double, he goes to a single on his opponent's right leg, and he uses his length to reach across to the far ankle. So let's take a look. So here it is, takes another shot, he gets a stall call. There's the double, he can't get both legs, so take one leg. And then he just starts to reach over and crunches the hips to get the takedown.
Bonacorsi starting to create a little separation now. Shaw into a stand-up, trying to dig his way out of trouble, and they go tumbling down right off the mat where the hardwood is underneath.
That was a hustle play by Nino Bonacorsi because I thought Max Shaw was about to get out, but Nino just chased him down and still staying on top. Once again, Max Shaw has to try and score a point here. Keep it close.
Bottom man set, cover. Give me a nice pause. 1001. 1,001.
Corsi patiently waiting to see what Shaw does underneath. Does not look like Max Shaw can get anything generated, so Bonacorsi's just going to swallow up the waist, cuts out the ankle, flattens him out, and it's all Nino Bonacorsi through the first couple of periods.
And so here's the stand-up, and it looks like Max Shaw was just about to get out, but look at that, just a hustle play right there by Nino Bonacorsi. Yeah, that's what we saw there. That's called a hustle play.
Talked about this being a homecoming for Max Shaw. He attended Thomas Jefferson High School here in Pittsburgh, and he talked about just so many wonderful memories as a Jaguar, his success both on the gridiron and also on the wrestling mat. First TJ wrestler in 25 years to win a Western PA title.
Now,
he's in a buzzsaw here tonight, though.
Nino Bonacorsi has gone to that ankle, and you hear the official counting to 5, and then Nino breaks it. But if he keeps going to it, the official can say you're stalling.
One red neutral.
All right, Rock, let's start talking bonus point opportunities for Pitt. Obviously, with the cut there by Bonacorsi, he's thinking about a possible major decision or a technical fall, which has implications for the team score tonight.
Bonus points are important in any match, but in a match when you go for first place in the conference, they mean that much more. Bonus points are when you win by at least 8 points to 14 points, and your team gets an additional point. So instead of getting 3 points, you'll get 4 points. So Nino Bonacorsi's here. He's trying to score to make the gap an 8-point decision. Max Shaw has got a circle. His back is to the outside, and Nino's back is to the inside. And he's continuing to push forward. That's exactly what Max has to do. Circle, but he can't go back to the mat. He's got to continue to circle. And what does Nino have to do? Nino has to keep shooting. He goes right back to that single. And this is exactly where Nino is very good. He's going to keep the hip, and now he's hooked it. Covers the hip again, another takedown.
Keep in mind, he has riding time over a minute, so he knows he's going to need another takedown. You see him waiting.
And look at Coleman Scott. He's right in his wrestler's ear. He said, look, you cannot give up bonus points. You got to wrestle. You can hear him say, wrestle. It's so important. So important that Max Shaw show himself and continue to wrestle. But Nino says, let's go to our feet, meaning let's go neutral. I'll give up a point because I believe I can get another takedown.
So he is looking for the takedown here in the closing 25 seconds to possibly pick up the additional team point for Pitt. He is in on the low leg. Waterfall position over the top goes Shaw.
That's a good position for Shaw to stay right between the legs. No control yet. It's just eating up clock. He's got to stay right in the middle.
Nope, we're out.
Look at, he's holding on. Good job by Max Shaw to hold on here. Nino is trying to get the head across. Is that a takedown? Is that a takedown? No takedown. No control there. So, Max Shaw held it to a regular decision. So that's just a 3-point decision as opposed to Nino Bonacorsi getting a major decision.
Bonacorsi remains perfect this year, running his record to 11-0.
Nino Bonacorsi was doing what he was supposed to do, and that's score. Shoot for 2 legs. If I can't get 2 legs, I'll get 1 leg. And he is like a dog with a bone when he gets that single leg. Relentless. Shoots in. Shoots for the double. I can't get 2 legs, so I'm going to now grab 1 leg and cut the corner.
One of the prize recruits in all of college wrestling on deck, Dayton Pitzer. Willie redshirt, Willie not. He still has a couple of open dates. His debut inside the Pete. Friday Night Duels rolls on from the Steel City. Brandon Whitman, the senior, Dundee, Michigan. 9-12 this season, and then the 5th-ranked Pitzer, 6-1.
Immediately, Whitman is doing a good job of trying to put his weight on top of the smaller Pitzer and trying to wear him down. He may not get a takedown here, but he wants Pitzer to feel his weight. He's probably giving up a good 45 pounds. That's Pitzer is giving it up to Whitman.
Whitman, the senior, Dundee, Michigan, 9-12 this year. This is his third season at heavyweight. He bumped up from 197 a few years ago and just hasn't quite had the success that he had earlier in his career at the lighter weight.
It's different wrestling heavyweight. I like this strategy that Whitman is imposing. He's saying that I am going to go to what's called a front headlock or short offense, and I want him to carry my weight. I want Pittsburg, the smaller heavyweight, to feel the weight on his shoulders to try and wear him down.
One of the ankle bracelets coming off of the big Tar Heel heavyweight, Brandon Whitman. One thing about Coleman, Scott, he put together a really, really difficult schedule when you take a look at some of the duels that UNC had. And for Whitman, he ran into some buzzsaws back in November. A loss to Mason Paris of Michigan. Was pinned by Tate Orndorff of Ohio State. This is his second ACC duel. He pushed Jonah Niesenbaum, the talented heavyweight of Duke, to sudden victory. Pitzer showing some of his athleticism, trying to get to the corner, but the big guy Whitman says no, just goes right back to that front head.
Circled and kind of squared up. He wants Pitzer to carry his weight. Now, Pitzer was doing a good job of getting angles, creating angles, moving the bigger wrestler. Let's see if he continues to move his feet. Move your feet, chop your feet. Whitman has slowed down just a hair since the first 2 minutes. So you start to wonder, you know, Pitzer said, I felt the weight of Whitman. Therefore, he's not firing off like we've seen him fire off in the past. But here's the thing. There's getting to have more film on Pitzer. So when there's more film on someone, they can create a better strategy, a better attack. Ooh, nice elbow pass. Didn't do anything, but it just moved Whitman. Good elbow pass. Controlled the elbow, brought the elbow to the mat.
Keith Gavin told us Pitzer actually does better against the larger heavyweights. Whitman would fall into that category. Dayton Pitzer with a huge win earlier this year over Colton Schultz of Arizona State. That kind of raised a lot of people's eyebrows across the country, his strong Midlands performance.
One thing Whitman has to watch out, he doesn't want to reach now. When you reach against someone that has more length, you can open yourself up for shots.
No score after 3 minutes. Pitzer and Whitman here at heavyweight. You take a look at what he accomplished at the Midlands, Houghton of NC State, Wolfgram of West Virginia, the huge 4-0 win against Schultz, and then the late fall over Hilger of Wisconsin, eventually losing to an athletic heavyweight when you factor in Davison of Northwestern. Similar size. So Pitzer will try to get out from underneath, look for that switch. Close to pulling it off if he can free up his left leg here.
He's very good in this position because his length. He's a long heavyweight. He's got to get his hips on top. Now Whitman is doing a good job of holding the ankle, but still getting riding time. So riding time is going in the favor of Whitman right now. Whitman now gave up the reversal, and now Pitzer, who's very good on top, we'll see if he can turn the larger heavyweight in UNC.
Running parallel for a while, he jumps off to the right side of the body as Whitman completely bellied out underneath, working for a turn here.
It looked like he's looking for rolling the wrist, getting out to the outside.
Tries to stick a leg in inside a minute, second period.
Let's improve.
You hear the official saying, let's improve. That's saying somebody's got to do something or someone's going to get hit for stalling. Whenever you hear the official say, let's improve, he's giving someone a warning. And immediately he gives a stall against UNC. He just believes that there's not enough wrestling being done by the bottom wrestler. So fans, when you hear the official say, someone improve, that means that they're thinking about calling someone for stalling. And riding time is getting close to a minute by Pitzer. So, Sean, let's set it up here. Is Whitman going to go underneath Pitzer? Because he hasn't shown much ability to get out of bottom, and he's shown a little more opportunity to score from a neutral position. Let's see what UNC says.
Whitman will look over to his corner. We will find out what Coleman Scott decides, and he says, let's start on the feet. Let's not go right back down underneath the hammer Pitzer. I like that decision.
I agree. I agree. Now, here's the thing. Whitman is a little more tired. You don't want to reach. When you're tired, oftentimes you reach. And if he reaches too much, oh, good drop down, good drop down. Good drop down. Now he's got to try to work. Whitman is holding on. It's holding on. He's got the heel. And there's a takedown. So, at this point, you're looking at the Pitt coaching staff. They're trying to figure out, should he let him up or should he ride him? He said, let him go. He said, let him go. Coach Gavin said, let him go, let him go, let him go. But apparently, Pitzer thinks that he has an opportunity to turn. But you young wrestlers at home, always listen to your coach. Listen to your coach. Your coach says, let him go, let him go.
Words of wisdom right there.
And this is a freshman decision. Freshman just didn't listen to his coaching staff.
Well, the million-dollar question over the next couple of weeks that the Pitt coaches will have is, do you pull the red shirt label off Dayton Pitzer this year, or do you put the tag back on after the next couple of weekends? Second stall call on Pittman underneath, so Pitzer goes up 5-0.
Pitzer's now committed to a turn. He's not going to let him go, so with riding time is essentially 6-0. If he gets a turn here, that would make a major decision, being 8 points. But it doesn't look like he's even had any possibility of turning him.
Going back to the red shirt dilemma, it's a good one for Keith Gavin, but Pitzer with a couple of weekends still available. Now, tonight and tomorrow count as one, so you'll see him tomorrow night when Iowa State comes to town, and then he'll have one more weekend next Friday night. Gavin and his coaches certainly with the decision. A talented heavyweight, Dayton Pitzer. He's an immediate threat to become an All-American. He arrived on campus with the goal of being a 4-time national champion. He just keeps on rolling. Bonacorsi started the fire tonight. The talented freshman followed suit. Pitt firing the opening salvo over UNC.
At Metro, you can save even more than before. Get a free Samsung Galaxy 5G with 50-megapixel quad camera. And with a phone like that, you can share even more family moments. Only at Metro.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat. Ooh, yeah, that's nice.
Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on?
Sure, it's wireless.
What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password?
It's Buick Envision. That's a really tight spot. I used to hate parallel parking.
Me too.
The Buick Envision, built around you, all of you.
Get 3.9% APR for 5 years and no monthly payments for 90 days on Buick Envision models.
Here's our Tuesday college basketball doubleheader right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Blake Hinson and Pitt host Louisville at 7 Eastern. Then it's off to Charlottesville. NC State takes on number 6 Virginia, all right here on the ACC Network. Oh, it's a chilly night here in Pittsburgh. I wanted to walk from the hotel to the Peterson Center, but Rock said, not on my watch.
No. If I can see my breath outside, I'm getting in the car.
Colton Camacho. Well, he's a guy who can certainly warm you up very quickly. He's on fire. Last 3 wins via the bonus point, taking on Jack Wagner, the graduate student, the 7th-year wrestler, first time in Chapel Hill. So many years at UNI, started his career at Iowa, was actually 133, but boy, he has blossomed under the coaching of the UNC staff this year, 18-5, and this is your sneaky good match at 125.
I'm giddy for this match right now because both of these guys are wrestling really well, and we're at 125, so they are going to be offensive.
Keep it legal up top.
Camacho's changed his hair color since we last saw him.
I noticed that too.
turquoise action for Colton Camacho, the redshirt junior. Really set the tone last week in Blacksburg with his quick fall in the first period, and Pitt never blinked an eye afterward. It was all Panthers in the 26-12 win. They won 7 of the 10 matches against Virginia Tech.
A little accidental poke in the eye, no injury time there, just a little poke.
What have you noticed from Camacho, the big difference from this season compared to last year?
He's got his diet under control and confidence. Confidence is like anything else, it's just great. When you have confidence, you will do stuff that you just didn't do before. Oh, he's going after it. That's what we're talking about, confidence, he's going after it.
As the double overs, but wisely Wagner able to sidestep his way out of bounds.
Now Wagner just needs to go back to the center. He doesn't need to talk, shake it off. He needs to just shake it off. He needs to just shake it off.
Action in the center.
You can see it's getting a little tension right here. It's for first place in the ACC.
And we both feel this is a must-have for UNC.
Oh, yes. Oh, the chain wrestling. Good chain wrestling. Wagner had a little knee dip, and what happened was Camacho defended it, went to a go-behind, chased both legs. That's quick chain wrestling right there.
The word Gavin used was pro. He probably said that word 6-7 times in our conversation when describing Colton Camacho and the maturity that he has exhibited this season.
Just the difference in how well he's wrestling, and we go back to what he did against McCormick from Virginia. McCormick and Virginia, and he lost to McCormick and Virginia last year, and then he came out and beat him 14-1. It's just a different wrestler.
So a second stall call on the edge there against Wagner. Coleman Scott, Tony Ramos, both very upset with the original stall call. So take us through why they were so upset with the original one earlier in this period.
And what they did not like about the second stall call is that they felt that, well, the head official, Nick Rossler, said the bottom wrestler, Wagner, intentionally just went out of bounds. And that's a good, tough call to make. Oh, you can, Sean, you can sense it now. Now the coaches are starting to coach a little harder. They know the importance of this match.
Inside a minute to go, first period. Wagner is away, and he's on the board for the first time.
I'm just seeing a different Colton Camacho. He is moving hard. He's moving forward. But Wagner's just got to shake it off. He doesn't like the stall calls against him. He's just got to continue to wrestle his match.
See some of the upper body strength that Camacho has. Big snap down a few moments ago. He's comfortable going with the upper body ties, had the double overs, which generated the first stall call earlier in the period. Short time wrestling as we wind down period one. One last lunge by Camacho and a 3-1 lead for Pitt here at 125.
So here it is, he's going upper body, here's the knee dip, but look at the defense, snap and go behind. Really good. I mean, that little knee dip here, and here's a stall call that the coach was upset about. He said, look, he just reached out of bounds. You saw that with the left hand? He kind of just reached out there. Good call by the official. He was avoiding action.
Wagner unable to get anything accomplished up top. He falls into a further hole, 4-1. Now he swings in really quick there. Deepest shot of the match for Jack Wagner.
He tried to hit it in the first period, but the second period, he's deeper. Now he's got to stay between the legs. He's back in the match, just like that, right back in the match. He just had to shake off some of the calls he didn't like and continue to wrestle. Hot dad, we got a good one now.
Tony Ramos, a big reason that Coleman Scott was able to land Jack Wagner. It looked like once he made the decision to leave Cedar Falls and UNI that he might settle at Norman with Oklahoma, but Ramos had recruited him when he first left Iowa after his redshirt year.
One green, neutral.
You see the confidence starting to build in Wagner. He's like, okay, I had to shake off that first period. And Colton Camacho's got to continue to keep the action moving forward. He was doing so well moving forward. But now, he said, okay, Wagner's got in on my leg. I got to be a little more careful. Wagner's starting to show that he's like, I'm in it now. I'm in it now.
He's working the score. Left hand,
1 minute remaining. And Camacho's starting to slow down a little bit. He's not going as hard as he was before. He's kind of reaching for a shot. And now it looks like Wagner is the one that's controlling the offense here.
Yeah, Wagner has weathered the storm pretty well.
Oh yeah, it's just, you saw how Camacho came out strong. Got a couple takes. Yes, he went right back to it again. High C, cut the corner. That's good. He's back in the match. He just had to weather the storm, forget about the stall calls, and went right back to that lefty high C.
Camacho tries to hit a couple of rolls. Wagner stays with him. Now Camacho able to come around the side for the reversal. 2 unanswered points at the end of the period.
Sneaky good match at 125. So here's, watch this knee dip. Ooh, that's a good high C. Finishes it, cuts the corner, gets the takedown, but in a little flurry. Here's the flurry. You keep moving, you don't stop wrestling. And by keep moving, he ended up with a reversal. Oh, yes, fans. This was the sneaky good match, and it's delivering.
Wagner briefly up to his feet. Now he is away. 7-6. Entertaining bout, 125. Pitt with victories at 97 and heavyweight up 6-0.
And riding time does not make a difference at this point.
Get out of those fingers.
7-6. We got to see Wagner go back to that high C to his opponent's left leg, called a lefty high C.
What's Camacho do to make the defensive adjustment to prevent it?
You beat it by continuing to be offensive. He's got to continue to be offensive now. He's got to worry about pushing. So Camacho is kind of just put to the defense. You see he's putting his hands down low. That's showing me that I'm going to a defensive mode. But Wagner is continuing to keep it going. We got 1 minute left, and you're going to see a good flurry. Man, this is good.
Couple of head taps trying to set it up. Stall call on Camacho. Here's Wagner, and he gets the takedown. Jack Wagner grabs the lead. 46 seconds to go.
You know what? At this point, he could try and let him ride him out, but he might say just let him go because he's been so much more offensive. So he goes to a super duck, to a double. Oh, look at this, Sean. He's going to give it an optional start. He's going to give him an optional start, and he's going to tie the match intentionally because he believes he has shown that I can weather the storm and I'm better on my feet. And Camacho has not been offensive since the first period.
Both wrestlers take a brief moment. Now they re-engage.
Oh, this is good. This is good.
It becomes a takedown match. Can the transfer from UNI give UNC their first win of the night?
He keeps going to the left side of Camacho. Let's see if he goes back to that left side. He's going right back to that left side. To the left side. There's the left side. He's going back to that left side. He's back to the left side. He's got to be patient. He's got to stay between. But look at Camacho. We're scrambling here. Did we get it? No takedown yet. Uh-oh. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this.
Coleman Scott certainly wants to talk about it.
Oh my goodness. So the official said we are going to go and we're going to do an official review. We are going to look to see if that wasn't in fact a takedown. Now, They're looking to see whether it was a takedown earlier or also with the time, so they can review a few things. So he went back to the left side. Colton Camacho's doing a good job, and he kind of just rolls through. Short time, no control yet. 3, 2, no control yet. Nothing, no control yet.
So you're 10 years as a Division I official. You're taking second and third looks at it. You're watching the clock in one view. You're looking for control in the other. Is it a takedown?
That's not a takedown because it wasn't rear standing. Rear standing, there's no reaction time. Because they were rolling around, that's the opportunity for reaction time. Reaction time is subjective. So Nick Grasso and Kevin Lynch are saying, was control established, which is a subjective call. At this point, he goes right back to the left side. He's shown that he is very effective on the left side of his opponent. So he's in between the legs. No control, obviously no control here. But watch this step through here to go to a double. And Camacho does another roll. Is there control yet? Control has to be felt. He's doing a rock reacts. Whoa, Coleman, you trying to take my job here? I love it. I love the coaches. So they're looking at it for a good time. Let's go overtime. Why not? We said it was sneaky good, and it's delivering. But they're looking at it a long time here. So they're looking at it this long, and you're starting to wonder, did we see a takedown somewhere? Important match here, fans, because if Pitt wins this match, they've got a good run going. But also, if UNC comes at, they say, okay, we know how to come back. Colton Camacho was up early, got some stall calls that certainly UNC didn't like. And so this timeout, who does this help out most? I'm thinking it's going to help out Camacho. Camacho was looking tired.
Let's take one more look at it. The final few moments. It was thrilling third period.
So he gets to the side, no control, obviously, no control. But look where he goes for a double. Is there a double? No, because it wasn't rear standing. So the question is, at the point where we see it right now, where was the clock? And so here's the call.
The call on the match stands.
No.
So the call stands, no takedown. We go to a 2-minute sudden victory.
Oh, this is so good. We said this was going to be sneaky good. 125-pounders have delivered. It's the first point scored. It doesn't matter how the points are scored. If there's a stall call against Wagner, that could end the match. So if he's only out of bounds, he's got to make sure he circles. But I tell you what, he better go back to that left side. He did a super duck, he did a high C, he did a single. Continue to attack the left side of Camacho.
Colton Camacho will try to get back on his offense. He's had a while to re-energize his gas tank. 2-minute sudden victory. Snap by Camacho. Wagner coils right back up to his feet.
Work through that.
You can feel the tension right here. You can feel it right now. It looks like Camacho's looking for a re-attack. It looks like he's not going to commit. I'm saying go for that left side again, Mr. Wagner. It's been effective.
Collar tie, Wagner switches into the double in a position to finish. Camacho rolls through, but this time Wagner seals it, and UNC picks up a huge win to try to get some momentum tonight.
In a swing match, Wagner weathered the storm. He was down early, was trying to get upset, and they said, just go out there and wrestle. So here it is. He goes right back to that left side, and he was in a double. It was tough. And it's hard to scramble out of a double when you have two legs. And man, he was pumped. He was pumped. They remember what happened in the first period, and Tony Ramos said, remember that stall call? It didn't make a difference.
Ramos, the three-time All-American for Iowa. 133, we move up. Jace Palmer, 11-9 this year. The redshirt freshman all the way from Casper, Wyoming, getting ready to take on 6th-ranked Mickey Philippi. 9-1 this year, coming off a sudden victory win last week over 7th-ranked Sam Latona. 4-time NCAA qualifier, and just like Nino Bonacorsi, the veteran leadership that these two provide this squad.
Mickey Philippi, everyone knows that he's so good on the mat, but he realizes that he has to open it up a little more offensively on his feet in order to be one that's going to compete for a national championship.
Early 2-on-1 here for Philippi as he works on the right arm of Jace Palmer. Palmer trying to clear out his arm. Philippi clamping down even harder.
What he'll do is take that 2-on-1, and then he'll go to a single on the right side of his opponent. So he's going to try and isolate the right side of his the body of his opponent, and then drop down to a single. And the coaching staff has said that they've really liked what Palmer has done. He's gotten better. He's gotten more confident. And when you get confidence, it just helps your wrestling game because you'll do what you've been taught. Now at this point, I mean, I'm not Coach Gavin, but I would say, Mickey, let's try and do something else. This isn't really doing anything. It's wearing his opponent down, but they want points. And the official said the same thing. Nothing is improving.
What a job Keith Gavin has done. Year number 6, 2008 Pitt graduate. Looking to beat North Carolina, though, for the very first time. Coleman Scott talked about how both him and Keith go way back, both Pennsylvania natives. They traveled together on the Pennsylvania club team for a number of years. A lot of respect between these two coaches and what they have done with these programs.
And although they've grown up together and they wrestled internationally, they both want to win.
Work through that. 1 minute.
They want to coach hard. And so here's the thing. Mickey Philippi is controlling it. Some people call it a Russian. It's a 2-on-1, but it's not really creating any offense here. And just as I say that, it creates offense. Oh, good roll. Takedown by Philippi. And this is where Philippi really makes his money, and that's being tough on top. Now, in the back of his mind, Philippi knows that he is the heavy favorite. He just doesn't want to put too much pressure on himself in order to try and get bonus points. He still has to wrestle, and Jace Palmer's doing a good job of getting to his feet.
Philippi struggling to bring him back, and then he does with some authority late. Short time wrestling. Philippi in a better position to ride out the final few moments of this period. And it will be a 2-0 lead for the senior from Derry, Pennsylvania.
So he hooked the leg, and when he had the leg hooked, he dropped down to a single, and then he just went to a typical trip, and then he covered both legs.
Mickey Philippi started his career at Virginia with Steve Garland. Keith Gavin and Jordan Leam were 2 assistants at the time. He had 1 good year in Charlottesville. He redshirted, won 25 matches. He was homesick, though. He wanted to come back to Pittsburgh and be with his family. Comes from a very large family. So wouldn't you know it, Gavin then took the job in the spring of 2017, and Philippi followed Keith right here to his town.
Immediately, Coach Ramos said, do not roll out of that. You don't want to roll out of that because Mickey had good position and was going to catch him.
Nice pause. Yep.
Philippi won a couple of ACC championships in 19 and 20, a couple of runner-ups the last couple of years, losing to Corbin Myers in close matches. Cuts out the foot, brings down Palmer, but Palmer showing some resolve underneath, just continues to battle.
And that's exactly right. He is continuing to battle. He's continuing to battle. So little gamesmanship here. Every time that the action gets towards the UNC starts to speak to the referees, starting to put some words. Look at this. What's going on here? Pay attention to this. Just aware on it, but Nick Grasso and Kevin Lennox, they've been to NCAAs. They know what it's like. And so now Mickey is trying his best to get the legs in, but Palmer's doing a good job of keeping that right hip down so Mickey Philippi's right leg cannot get in. And you hear the coaching right here. The coaching trying to tell him what's going on. And Mickey Philippi is doing what he does. He's trying to roll the wrist out and control the right side of the body.
This is a typical Mickey Philippi match. He gets the takedown early. He's tough on top. He just smothers an opponent. Has won a lot of tight matches, low-scoring matches throughout his career.
He has. But here's the thing. This is a dual meet. And when you're favored as much as Mickey Philippi is, he won a tough match against San Latona. They expect not just a win, they want bonus points. So Mickey Philippi all but has riding time secured.
Over 2.5 minutes of riding time. Philippi headlining the ranked ACC wrestlers. He has the win over Latona last week. Kyle Arini will be his opponent next week when those two meet.
Nice pause. Get there, Red. Yep. One green neutral.
Philippi is away, 3-0. 125 career wins for Philippi, who goes right back to the arm tie at the 2-on-1. Jace Palmer trying to do his best to stay out of that tie-up, does not want precious time weaned off this clock. That's just a clock killer, so Philippi slides down. Smooth attack around the ankle.
He's tabling the leg, putting it on the thigh. He's going to try to step over. Takedown. So you see Coach Evans said, get out, and now he says, we want to go neutral. Stand them up, go neutral. They're looking for bonus points at this point. It is now, with riding time, it's really 6-0, but now it's 6-1. Mickey Philippi needs a couple more takedowns if he wants the bonus points.
Again, a major decision, 8 points or more, 8 to 14 points, and you pick up 4 team points in the dual score in the upper right-hand corner. Here's the real first shot by Palmer, smothered pretty easily by Philippi. Philippi goes right back to the arm.
Goes right back, little foot sweep action, but Palmer almost had an opportunity to score there. Riding time secured, it's 6-1 right now. Mickey needs to score either a takedown, some near falls, or a couple takedowns. And Palmer's doing a good job of just holding position. And he's even shooting. I like that. He said, I'm not just holding on, I'm going to show myself. Showing myself means like I'm going to be offensive without being foolish.
They're really high on Jace Palmer, 4-time state champion in Wyoming, one of 24 wrestlers in the history of Wyoming to do that. Just cannot get to his offense, and Philippi continues to add to the lead. Quick cut and release. Keep in mind he has riding time, so Philippi needs another takedown to get the 14 points for Pitt. But he runs out of real estate with just 2 seconds to go.
Just a little late with his offense. I believe that in the first period, he could have gone to something else. That's a caution, a little bit of a false start. 2 seconds left. You're going to take down 2 seconds left, and you're incredible. So Mickey Philippi does what he's supposed to do. He gets the win. A typical Mickey Philippi win. Takedown, dominant on the mat. And now we're setting ourselves in a position for Wagner. Patting his chest. But it's all setting up for 141 with Lachlan McNeil and Cole Matthews. Mickey Philippi doing what he's supposed to do. But 141 is coming up next, and that's going to be a good one.
At Metro, you can save even more than before. Get a free Samsung Galaxy 5G with 50-megapixel quad camera. And with a phone like that, you can share even more family moments. Only at Metro.
Wow. Mia, can you send me that?
Sure.
Mia, can you send me that?
Mia, can you send me that?
Hey, can you send me that?
Sure.
this atmosphere as the lights come back on.
Little ball left, he's on his back! He's on his back! Oh my goodness! Holy moly! Drama personified!
All roads lead to Reynolds Coliseum. And will we see these two in March for an ACC title? The first ever meeting, Lachlan McNeil, the redshirt freshman, 13th in the country, and the returning All-American, the veteran Cole Matthews, 13-1. Matthews, the three-time NCAA qualifier, 5th a season ago, one of the fan favorites. And he will try to figure out Lachlan McNeil, who just seems to be getting more and more comfortable each and every weekend.
Both of these guys are confident, different types of confidence. Cole Matthews is more of a quiet confidence. Lachlan McNeil will tell you how confident he is. And the thing about it, he backs it up. This is going to be determined by the first takedown. Whoever gets the first takedown is going to determine this match.
Just the third time Matthews has wrestled here inside the Pete. He talked about how he loves coming here to compete. Opportunity tonight against the ranked wrestler McNeil. Trying to dig in a right arm underhook. McNeil steers it away.
Both guys are very good at what's called sitting the corner, meaning when someone shoots a shot, they like to get to the side and try to spin behind and perhaps look for a cradle. I see that Cole Matthews is a little more aggressive. He's coming out and trying to force the offense.
We had a chance to talk to both of these wrestlers, as you alluded. They both talked about the significance of getting the first takedown.
And the reason for this, Cole Matthews knows if he gets the first takedown, his opponent has to now come to him. And that means that opens up his counter offense. Lachlan McNeil knows that if you score first on Cole Matthews, he has to come at you. And Lachlan McNeil is very good at counter offense as well. So in many ways, these are very similar wrestlers. You know what? That was interesting because Cole Matthews is going hard for that left side underhook with his left arm, and right when he came in, you saw Lachlan McNeil go to a sweep single on the other side. Little data shot. How did he respond to that? Data shot, data information, building up to figure out how he's going to attack later on in the match.
McNeil fairly new to folk style wrestling, and what was so interesting when we talked to him, I asked him, so what do you think? What do you prefer as he tries to off-balance Matthews with his upper body, the underhook, but Matthews able to get back, regain his balance. And Lachlan McNeil said, I'm actually better suited for folk style.
And that was a surprise to me. And conversely, Cole Matthews says he's better at freestyle.
Boy, did you sense his excitement to take it to the next step as far as the international once his days at Pitt are done? He kind of dipped his toe in the water this offseason at the U23s, had a great experience, and he's all fired up for his freestyle future.
A little technical thing that you saw with Lachlan McNeil, because what you saw with Lachlan McNeil, when you saw Cole Matthews had an underhook and under the chin, immediately Lachlan McNeil went to attack the hand on the chin and it stopped for what Cole Matthews has. And what Cole Matthews has is a cement mixer or cement job. We said that earlier, that was a data shot, and he's getting a little closer with that underhook to a throw-by.
There is Lachlan's dad, Callum, who competed in the 1992 Summer Olympics at 68 kilos. He represented Great Britain, able to make a journey here to Pittsburgh to watch his son, capturing every moment on video. It's interesting, his first camp was with the GZ group, which is located in Rochester, New York. And so the first people that Lachlan and his father met here in the United States, Adam Burgos, and then the Diakomahalis family, and they have kept the relationships throughout the years. Now McNeil, who's very good underneath, trying to get out. Matthews will have to let him go. Good job there by Lachlan McNeil. 25 seconds, and he is away.
We can't overemphasize how important that was because Cole Matthews is very good on top. And so Lachlan McNeil has gone to an underhook immediately to a throw by, meaning he's throwing the overhook over like someone's pitching the ball. So he's getting an underhook underneath the armpit of Cole Matthews and throwing it like a pitch to drop down to leg. The first time he whiffed, the second time he got to the heel. Let's see if he goes back to it.
Actions. 1 minute.
Halfway through the second period, the escape by McNeil has been at 1-0 UNC, trailing 9-3 through the first 4 matches. Rocks featured bout tonight. Can honestly say no real surprises so far.
No. But one thing I have seen is that Lachlan McNeil is attempting shots. Most people don't like to shoot on Cole Matthews because he's so darn good at defense. And another thing I noticed by doing that underhook that Lachlan McNeil has and throwing it, it keeps him away from Cole Matthews' defense. It's a little chess match going on right here. Every time Cole Matthews goes for an underhook, Lachlan McNeil uses his left arm to block that from getting in.
Matthews will have the opportunity to start the third period underneath. Matthews headlining 5 ranked wrestlers, one of the power weights for this conference. Jack Forth, Tom Crook, the good-looking youngster for Virginia Tech, and then McNeil and Brian Courtney at 141. All right, so Matthews underneath, and just like we saw with McNeil, he has no trouble getting out. So we go back to the feet tied at 1.
Here it is. This is where it's going to be decided. This is typical Cole Matthews match. He wins it tight, wins it close. But remember, his only loss was in a match just like this, keeping it close. It's just a game of inches and a game of milliseconds. Because that's all it's going to take for either one of these guys to get in and try to finish something. This is not boring because there's a shot. It's just quickness. But this is where Lachlan McNeil is very good at sitting in the corner. You see, he's sitting in the corner and he's good here. But Cole Matthews is going to try to lift the leg and watch out for the quick. This is Cole Matthews. Typical match here. He got a high C and he stayed tight. Now, Lachlan McNeil has to come after him. This is typical Cole Matthews. 3-1. He went to it again, Sean. He went to that underhook, and if he keeps going there, he's going to try and catch the shoelaces of Cole Matthews. Cole Matthews has got a circle. He's going to get it for stalling, but that's a veteran move right there. Veteran move to circle. So here's the takedown here. High C. And at this point, this is when Lachlan McNeil feels very good at sitting in the corner. But it's just too much offense for Cole Matthews right there to finish it. So
McNeil on the hunt now with 18 seconds to go. Matthews knew he had a stall call to give in his back pocket. Lachlan McNeil trying to find any answer. And Matthews just bunkers down on the leg underneath, and this is a real good position. If you're Cole Matthews on the edge, he will hold serve here, and Matthews wins a tight one at 141 to the delight of Keith Gavin. Pitt ups the ante, 3-2, Matthews over McNeil.
Top matches, they'll see each other again, but this is Cole Matthews' style. He finishes it, but this is now a very tight match. Pitt came out early. Then you see a good win by Wagner, Mickey Philippi doing it, and then Cole Matthews winning a tight match off of a very game, Lachlan McNeil.
At Metro, you can save even more than before. Get a free Samsung Galaxy 5G with 50 megapixel quad camera. And with a phone like that, you can share even more family moments. Only at Metro.
Ready? Wow. Mia, can you send me that?
Sure. Hey, can you send me that? Sure.
Here's next Thursday night's women's basketball doubleheader. Olivia Miles leads the 9th-ranked Irish against Pitt at 6 Eastern. Then Diamond Johnson, high-scoring 15th-ranked NC State, battling Jewel Spear and Wake Forest. Should be another great night of women's hoops right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Always a gorgeous skyline here in the Steel City as we cross over the halfway point. Pitt leads 12-3, but all 5 matches have went by decision. Bonacorsi stays perfect this year. Pitzer wins by decision, and then the combination of Philippi and Matthews delivering again for the Panthers. 149, a spot normally that North Carolina sends out their 4-time NCAA qualifier, Zach Sherman. Not the case tonight. They will go with their talented freshman, the true freshman, Jaden Scott. And yeah, he has silenced a lot of his opponents this year, taking on the redshirt sophomore Tyler Badgett. 14-8 this year for Badgett, all the way from the West Coast. So we have Henrietta, New York with Scott, San Diego, California, opposite coast, meeting here in Pittsburgh tonight.
And when we talk to both coaching staff, that's a good shot there by Jaden Scott. But really good hips and defense by Badgett. You got to open up the hips like he did. It's all about the hips. And it's a good shot there by Badgett. Now he's going to try and stand up with it. You want to get height here. Now at this point, he's going to try and club and trip in one motion. Reaching up, now he went to the waist. I'm not sure he should go to the waist because now it gets a harder whizzer. But he's still got to bring that leg up. Badgett from Pitt needs to lift that leg just a little more and limp arm. Meaning just try to get that arm just a little loosey-goosey and not keep it tight. But really good defense there by Scott. The patience by the freshman from UNC. And look at the defense here. Yeah. Good defense by Jaden Scott. And really good offense by Badgett.
They can still utilize a red shirt. Jaden Scott with 1 date remaining, coming off a busy weekend on the App State title. You look at some of Scott's losses this year. Shane Van Ness of Penn State 2-0. He was pinned early on by Sammy Sasso in the duel with Ohio State. Lost to Caleb Hinson in the Southeast opener to begin the year. But this is a athlete really for the first time in his life really committing 100% to the sport of wrestling, and that is what has Coleman Scott and his staff so excited. He was an exceptional football player, talented running back, had a lot of offers to go play college football, but in the end he made the late decision to focus in on wrestling.
And in his room he has Lachlan McNeil at 141, Zach Sherman at 149, and we'll see the returning national champion Austin O'Connor at 157. You have to get better. But when we talked to Mickey Philippi, he said Badgett has gotten so much better. When he first came in, he wasn't beating anybody, but now look at him, ranked in the country. And look, Badgett's being very, very careful right there. He's holding onto the shoelaces and trying to hold up, and now he's going to try to lift the leg or pass it. So the official said it's potentially dangerous, meaning that it could be a move that could hurt somebody.
Nick Grasso stopping the match. Short time here in this first period. No score. One last shot by Scott. Badgett covers it up effectively. And the first period scoreless. Zach Sherman not in singlet tonight, ranked 27th for UNC. Caleb Hinson, I know he has become one of your favorites, Rock, what he has been able to do in his freshman year at Virginia Tech in such a young weight class. You have Arrington and Hinson. We're watching a true freshman and Scott Badgett, only a sophomore. The future looks bright at this weight.
And for the ACC, because they're all not going to stay at 149. Eventually, someone's going to move up. And Badger's doing a good job. This is Pitt style of wrestling. They commit to a ride. What's a ride? A ride is when you're on top and you're trying to continue to put pressure, looking for back points or turning someone over. Pitt style of wrestling is to commit to a top move. And that's exactly what Tyler Badgett is doing. He's committing to a leg ride. You talk to anyone in college wrestling, the hardest thing for freshmen is how to get out of bottom. And we're going to find out a lot about where Scott is in his development on bottom, because Badgett is doing a good job of putting the pressure on the freshman.
Badgett approaching a minute of riding time. Halfway through period 2. Scott, no answer thus far for getting out underneath. You hear Nick Grasso come in reminding Badgett, let's work to try to get some offense from this top position.
And you know what you're seeing with Badgett? He's being busy. He's got the leg in, but he's moving a little here, pulling the head here, trying to get the arm, saying, ref, I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to work here, as opposed to just waiting for something. And so the official says, stalemate. Stalemate was because they felt that no one could improve here. And so,
bottom man set. Cover, you're on.
Scott's got to explode. He gets right to his feet. He's got to pinch the knees. Good job by Badgett to get the leg back in. And this is just a difference.
Keep that legal. Keep that legal. Adjust.
There's a difference in college wrestling when you're wrestling high schoolers. And as good as they expect Jaden Scott to be, he's got to get better underneath.
2 minutes of riding from Tyler Badgett. That takes a toll as you move into the third period. So do some of these mat returns. Scott unable to get out. Now he will try to return the favor. So Badgett goes underneath, and Scott says, nope, I don't even want to mess with that. I want to try to win this thing on my feet. See the size differential between these two. Badgett a little bit bigger.
Stalemate. Fingers. Stay out of those fingers.
Tyler Badgett coming out of San Diego, California, originally signed with Old Dominion, but unfortunately with that program dropping wrestling, found a home here at Pitt, third year on campus. A rare California recruit for Coach Keith Gavin, but they have been really happy with his development.
And I wonder how much he thinks of California on a day like today in Pittsburgh when it's 17 degrees outside. One thing that I'm seeing is Scott is shooting straight on. And he can't shoot straight on when someone has solid defense like Badgett. He's got to create an angle or misdirection. But right now he's just shooting straight on, and Badgett's just too tough here.
Morning green.
Reshot by Badgett just as he was tagged with his first stall call. Scott tries to reposition, now a scramble situation.
So it's a tough position right here, but Badgett's doing a good job of just holding the ankle. He's going to hold the ankle, and now he's going to try and step up with that and be in a better position. Scramble here, he's going to try and crunch the back of Scott. He's going to try and crunch the back, and it looks like we're just going to get to a stalemate here.
Stop. Stalemate.
Riding time is locked for Badgett, so Scott needs a takedown to try to force a sudden victory.
So here is, right when he was stepping through, what Badgett did was call him passing the ankle, meaning he passed it from one side of his body across his chest the other. It's called passing the leg. And it got to a point where no one could improve, so therefore the official said stalemate. Stalemate means that nothing can go on, therefore let's start fresh.
Final instructions during the blood timeout as they work on Badgett. Solidified this spot for Pitt. Panthers questions coming in to the season, both 49 and 57 pounds. Coach Keith Gavin, they had to go really young tonight at 57 because of an injury to Dejon Casto. Badgett trying to deliver the win. 20 seconds. Jaden Scott looking for a takedown to force a sudden victory. Back into this similar position, Rock, we just saw before the blood.
And at this point, this is just a clock eater for Badgett right here. He's just going to shoot and hold and just get a nice, gritty, typical Pitt win. Being dominant on top, being very physical and very stingy on feet. Badgett does what he's supposed to do. Now, the future's still bright for Scott, but Badgett does what he's supposed to do and get a win.
Tyler Badgett picks up his first ACC win this year, and again, it's been wrestling to the tight vest tonight. 6 matches, all 6 by way of decision. Will that change as we go to 157? The national champion for North Carolina, hungry to get back on top of the country, unbeaten this year. He has just obliterated the opposition. 12 bonus point wins. 13-0 this year for Austin O'Connor, matched up against the freshman Jared Kessler for Pitt.
Austin O'Connor had this match circled for a long time because he thought he was going to wrestle Dejon Casto, because Dejon Casto beat Austin O'Connor in the first round of the national championships last year. Of course, Austin O'Connor came back and became an All-American yet again, and he wasn't even healthy.
Underwent off-season knee surgery, really wrestled the latter stages of last year on one leg. When you look at Austin O'Connor, medically forfeited once he earned the All-American status, medically forfeited to 8th place, underwent a couple of surgeries this offseason. Initial one to repair, and then he had some scar tissue build up, as you see some of the offense here by O'Connor, and he'll drive Kessler down for the opening 2.
The whole time, Austin O'Connor kept his hands on the freshman. And a freshman, Kessler won a PEI AA, AAA state championship, but he hasn't wrestled against a national champion before. It's a whole different ball game.
One green neutral, let's do it in the center.
Austin O'Connor, the 4-time All-American. Last double right there for 2 more.
Oh my, that was quick and clean. He didn't give someone a break. He didn't say, oh, let's go back to the center. He said, I release you, I'm going to score. You release someone to score. Looking like a little spladle action. Austin O'Connor was going to try to spladle.
Still red. One green neutral.
The little thing that you saw, Sean, there was a big exhale by Kessler, saying, because he knows that he is not going to get a time to breathe, because Austin O'Connor is going to keep the pressure on.
O'Connor, in our conversation this week, he has a chip on his shoulder this season. He just does not feel, you know, that the rest of the country is paying enough attention to what's going on in the ACC and the wrestling, and in particular what he has been able to do. A national champion back in 2021. We talked about the serious knee injury that slowed him down, but he is fully healthy, and he is just putting up points galore so far this year. And you talked about it. This was going to be a big stretch for him over the next few weeks.
Next week, he goes and wrestles Bryce Andonian. The week after that, he has Ed Scott in a rematch of the ACC championships, whereby he did not win, but he says, when I'm healthy, I am dominant and I'm a national champion.
He's certainly healthy right now. He will be content with his body of work through the first 3 minutes of action. He's put up 8. 4 takedowns for the 2021 national champ.
He kept the hands on him and he just drove through and covered the leg. But this is the one I like. The second takedown, he didn't give any time for Kessler to breathe, and he went right into a nice clean double.
Austin O'Connor has so many incredible attributes, but one item that Coleman Scott always brings up to us was his in-match IQ.
In-match IQ. He's not just going to be physical and overwhelmed. He makes adjustments during the match. Not at the end of the period, right in the middle of periods. Oh, man, he went from a Russian, he tried to slide it to the mat, and then he went across to a double. That's in-match adjustments.
Still you, Red.
Here's the thing I like about Austin O'Connor. He keeps his hands on his opponents. He doesn't like to give them a time to break. He releases and just keeps the pressure on. Oh, he was looking for the headlock.
He was. He was looking.
Do it in the center.
Now Kessler, he likes the underhooks. He likes underhooks on the left side of his opponent. Just relentless pressure. Hey, no complaints because he backed up, but when you have this much pressure on you, there's not much you can do. Banging the head, circling. Oh, he's looking for this. He's looking for this. He's looking for this. Good fight there by Kessler, though. Gives up the takedown, but it's a good job to fight that.
Red, you're in control.
And watch this. When he releases,
one green neutral.
He just goes right back in there. Not just one shot to another shot. Kessler's just getting overwhelmed. And there's nothing you can say. He's trying. He is working hard, but Austin O'Connor is a returning national champion.
This is a tough debut at this weight for Jared Kessler, who had wrestled every single match this year at 65. Now, the original plan, even before the Casto injury, was next year to put him at 57, and this coming weekend at the Edinburgh Open, this is the weight that he was going to wrestle. But a buzzsaw tonight, the hammer, Austin O'Connor.
Look at this thing. Look at this. He goes 2-on-1, rush in, down to the mat, a crossbody double. That's just hours and hours of feel. Bring the rusher to the mat and then go across.
One red neutral.
As soon as he escapes, hands right back on him.
Right back engaged. Blood in the water right now for O'Connor. Up 11.
And it's very quiet in here because the fans know what they're seeing is just a really, really good wrestler. Not just at 157, but across the nation. Austin O'Connor is that dude.
One green neutral.
O'Connor had surgery 2 weeks after Nationals at Detroit, and now he's looking for more.
1001.
Kessler in some trouble, giving up the count, and it will be 2 on the near fall, and that is going to end it. The technical fall win and 5 team points that come along with the tech fall, 15 or more. And UNC, just like that, they turn to their 4-time All-American to get them right back into it.
You saw the stare down that Austin O'Connor gave. He looked over to the pit staff because he says, "Where were you, Casto?" And he put someone to his back. He wanted Casto, but he'll take a tech fall anyway. Austin O'Connor, your returning national champ.
Grab my hand! Wait, are you sweating?
Didn't you use Allspice dry spray?
Of course I did. I'm not an idiot.
Don't lie to me, Dolph Lundgren. It's right here. Allspice has long-lasting sweat protection.
I'm telling you, I used it. Okay, I lied.
Wow. Mia, 괜찮습니다.
Sure.
Mia, can you film me then?
Mia, can you send me that?
Hey, can you send me that?
Sure.
As expected, Austin O'Connor wins, but look at a mean mug and pit staff. Pointing to his hand, telling Dave John Casto, your time is coming. He wanted to wrestle him. And he didn't even go over to shake the hands. What a competitor. He wants to win.
O'Connor's win has UNC back in it, and now they'll turn to a little star power with Joey Mazzara. They call him Joey Vegas, the glittering lights of Las Vegas. Bishop Gorman High School taking on Holden Heller, the first of the two Heller brothers. Holden, the redshirt senior, transferring in from River Woods, Illinois. Marian Catholic, his first year here at Pitt, taking on Joey Mazzara, 13-7 this year.
And immediately, Joey Vegas has got to be careful on shooting and not having a real committed shot. Because when you wrestle the Heller brothers, they're very good at scrambling and counter offense. Oh my, that was a really good. That was a really good duck under right there. I mean, that was, he touched the mat and he was underneath with a claw rod. That was really good. So the duck under, what does he do? He's going to just wind down and get behind. And then he just seals the hip
Bottom man set
and brings it to the mat. Really good.
As we talked about, first year at Pitt for Heller, spent 3 years for Hofstra. Took a red shirt last year. NCAA qualifier a couple of years ago, was an EIWA conference champion.
Great.
The Heller brothers, certainly a big reason Pitt had success on the road last week in Blacksburg.
Go ahead, get set. Guys, slow it up a little bit.
Really good success. He's good on top, and he has what's called a claw rod, when you go underneath the armpit and grab the trapezius muscle and hold on tight. And there it is, right around the neck. That's where it's good. So what does Joey Vegas have to do? He has to what's called bump him off of that side to the other side to loosen it up. So wherever the claw is, you want to bump it off that side. Back to his feet.
Good job there by Mazzara to get away. Joey Mazzara really stepped up for the team when he first arrived on campus. He wrestled up at 184 just to fill a need, as you see Heller go right back on the offense. Working his way up the left leg of Mazzara, shelves it, looks for one sweep, tries a second sweep, and he goes up 4-1.
And no disrespect to Heller, but that was a bad shot. All he wants to do is get to a leg and create something. If we ran that back, it sounds like there was no penetration shot there. He just reached, and if he feels he can get the leg, he can create offense. And again, no disrespect to Heller.
Let's improve.
Because he still got the takedown.
You got to work.
It's quite a family when you look at the Hellers. Holden, who we're watching now, and younger brother Reese. Their father was into martial arts. They have another brother, Reese. Sage, their older sister, Willow. And actually, it was Willow was the first one to get into combat sports. She was into judo.
Improve.
And a lot of success. Three pretty good careers for the brothers. For Holden and Reese, far from done. 2 years of eligibility still for Holden, 3 remaining for Reese at 184.
One of the things that Coleman Scott said about Mazzara is that he's just got to believe in himself. They believe in him. He's got to believe in himself.
Yeah, he had a tough bout with McCoy last week. Mazzara was able to get the takedown. You talk about belief. He was able to get the takedown in the second period to tie it at 4, but then he ends up losing on a neutral danger call late. Just belief and confidence to take those shots a little bit earlier in the match and not let it come down to it.
Short time left in the period. 4-1 lead with Heller, and amount of riding time that he has. So here it is, the second takedown. He just kind of just reaches, nothing great, but then he just sucked that leg in. He feels that if I can get to the leg, I'm going to finish, and that's what he did to get the second takedown. Keep it high and trip low.
Little quick. Slow it up a little. Caution, Brad. All right. Wait for me. Wait. Go ahead, get set. You're on. Yep.
Offense coming from Holden Heller. Caution that time given to Mazzara, trying to get a head start on top. He comes back with a claw of his own. Into a tripod, now into a stand-up, and Heller is away. 5-1, Heller with the lead. Minute 59 of riding time as well.
You see the defense that's happening? Joey Mazzara had the underhook, and what Heller did, he just kind of put his elbow in the pit of the elbow of Mazzara. One thing that you're noticing about Heller, he has longer arms, so his penetration steps doesn't have to be as deep as someone else because he has length to get there.
There's some of the length on full display as he is in. Deep shot on Mazzara for 2 more.
And so look at him, looking at the coach, and says, "Coach, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to ride, or do you want me to let him go?" So again, a mountain of riding time right now.
1 red neutral.
Mazzara trying to get to his offense near the edge, and he's close to doing it. Can't quite seal up the far leg. Trying to get control. Still has his right foot inbounds. One more thrust as he tried to toe drag it. But the continuation of action goes out of bounds, and Heller dodges really the first true threat offensively from Joey Mazzara.
That's a confidence builder. He said, "I can get in," and if there was a little more real estate, he could have finished that. Similar to what we saw at 125. You know, you weather the storm and then get a little confidence here.
Short time wrestling inside 10 seconds. 7-2. It's been all Holden Heller. And the transfer from Hofstra with the lead. He has some big shoes to fill. Jake Winsel now in a volunteer assistant role for Coach Keith Gavin. Winsel was a hammer at 165. In fact, it's ironic. Winsel was one of the guys that kind of helped usher Holden here at Pitt. He showed him around campus, both he and Cole Matthews. And what a great one to learn from now with Winsel on the bench. And you had a chance to talk to Jake this week a couple of times.
What we miss is that UNC decided to go down, and immediately Pitt says, "Let's go neutral and give up a point because they feel better on offense." And yes, talking to Jake Winsel, you know, he enjoys his coaching, and he enjoys talking about, "Oh, good shot there." But this is where Holden Heller is pretty good at sliding around, looking like he's trying to get control. Control is felt. So it's not anything where it's just automatically. It's got to be a control situation dictated by the official. Now there's control there. And talking to Jake Winsel said Holden Heller wrestles through every position. And for a national finalist to say he wrestles through every position, that's high praise. Look, that's good coaching, because Holden Heller knew, what do I do? And looked immediately over to the Pitt staff to say, "Coach, do you want me to let him go or keep him down?" And coach said, "Keep him down. Keep him down and see if we can turn here."
As riding time locked, the turn would put him in the major decision category, and 14 points for Pitt. Already up 15-8 through 7 matches. And we get a stalemate call back to the center.
I wonder if they're going to say, "Let him go. Let him go." Yes, they did. So Pitt said, "Let him go." They're going to try to get a major decision, and Joey Vegas has to just be tough here and don't give it up.
So what you're looking at now with riding time, a 10-4 score for Heller, and a takedown will put him into the major decision. Scramble to close out this third period, and he gets the 2. But there's the escape as Mazzara gets away. So we're right back to a takedown situation for Heller to keep the bonus point opportunity.
Do it in the center.
Tough wrestling there by Joey Mazzara. He could have easily just said, "I'm just going to give up this major decision," but he fought towards the end.
Don't look now, but Holden Heller is getting on a little bit of a roll. Man, as he filled this opening at 165 beautifully for the Panthers.
That's the first takedown, was a nice slick duck under, and then he covered the hips, and then at that point, he was saying that if I can just get to the legs of Joey Mazzara, I'm going to get there. Finish high with the leg up, and then trip.
North Carolina has Clay Lout back in the lineup tonight. They did not use him last week. They had the duel in hand against Virginia, trying to manage his reps. 6-2 this year, 8th in the country, the 3-time NCAA qualifier, and the returning All-American taking on Luca Augustine, the redshirt freshman from nearby Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, just about an hour south of where we're situated here in Pitt. And talking to some of the support staff with Pitt earlier today, about 100 kids made the journey up to watch Luca in action here tonight inside the P.
That's one of the benefits of wrestling in-state, especially being close to where you went to high school. You get the support. It's good to see Clay Lout back. Had a little injury, and they were protecting him to make sure he's healthy when he needs to be healthy. And he is one of the most underrated wrestlers in the country. He's a 2-time All-American at 174. Never lost to Mekhi Lewis more than 2 points. He always keeps it tight.
Speaking of Lewis, Lout powered his way last year in Detroit all the way into the quarterfinal round, where he lost to Mekhi Lewis. Another tight match like you were talking, 4-2. Lout ended up 8th in the country. He entered Detroit seated 10th. This is just his 4th match that he has wrestled in a little more than a month and a half. Coleman Scott was frank with us and told us, hey, we need to make sure our guys are ready because we're judged with how we perform for 3 days in the month of March. And veterans like Lout, O'Connor, Sherman, who was a no-go tonight, they've all been here. They know what it takes.
Very true. And some may not like the decision to hold people out, but you want to make sure that your guys are healthy and make sure they're in positions to not just win, but not to get injured as well.
Let's work the score. Work the score.
And Luca Augustine is a grinder. He's someone that Pitt likes. They know that he's going to work extremely hard. And it's just going to take seasoning. And seasoning is going to get All-Americans like this. He had a rough match against returning national champion Mekhi Lewis last week. Let's see what he's learned.
Rock, has there been anyone in the sport over the last couple of years that has grown in success as much as what we've seen with Clay Lout? I mean, you talk about a story of development. He went 4-15 in his true freshman season. Then he turned it around, made the round of 12-21, and then the podium finish last year. Unranked kid coming out of high school looking to become a 3-time All-American.
That's when you have athletes like Clay Lout who are committing to trusting the process with their coaching staff. And by trusting the process of your coaching staff, you're going to have good results. And it makes me laugh when these parents will come in and make calls to coaches and saying their kid needs to do this, you need to let this happen.
Well, Luca Augustine knows this guy quite well. Jim Akerley, head of Quest School of Wrestling, and Rock, you had a visit there yesterday, had a chance to sit down and talk with Jim.
One of my former coaches, hard-nosed, tough. He doesn't let anyone have breaks, but even though he's a hard-nosed guy and he really expects a lot out of his wrestlers, he's pretty funny. He has some good one-liners when he's giving his wrestlers some grief.
Second period underway, a 1-0 lead for Augustine, one of Akerley's former wrestlers with the Quest Club here in town.
And Max Shaw from USC was a Quest School of Wrestling wrestler, and Slinger, the other heavyweight for Pitt under Jim Akerley's leadership.
Augustine this year, 1-1 in ACC duels. He has a win against Vic Marcelli of Virginia, but he lost last week. Mekhi Lewis just kind of had his way, 14-4 win for the Virginia Tech national champion from a few years back.
The longer this match stays like this, the more confident Augustine is going to become. We haven't seen a real committed shot from Lout, and maybe he's picking his spots, or maybe Luka Augustine's defense is that good.
Action.
And that's why we were talking about it. He's a grinder, kind of like Harvey was last year, just a grinder. One of Sean Kenny's favorite wrestlers in the universe.
I wonder if he's part of the crowd behind us. It's Alumni Day here at Pitt. They have brought back a lot of former Panther wrestlers and treated them to a fun night here inside the Pete.
Clay Lout had one of the biggest moments in ACC Friday night duel history when he pinned Hayden Hidley at Reynolds last year. There's a shot there. He couldn't finish it though. The longer Luka Augustine stays in this match, the more confidence he's going to build.
Okay, where we going?
Lout will start underneath. Pitt looking to go 3-0 and really move into the driver's seat for the regular season ACC race. Big duel next Friday night against NC State. Roll here by Lout. Augustine stays with him.
And this is what Pitt likes to do. They want to commit to a ride. But the veteran's just too savvy.
In the center.
Lout just wrapping up his Masters of Accounting degree.
Stay out of the face.
Always so good with his upper body. He's had the extensive Greco-Roman background before arriving in Chapel Hill. He'll get to his underhooks and upper body, and we have seen him put some opponents airborne throughout his career.
Now, being the veteran that Lout is for UNC, he knows that he has a solid defense. And Luka Augustine, being a freshman, he knows he has to be careful.
Let's work.
And so he's just going to be a grinder. A grinder may not shoot like they're just going to stay in hand fight. And he knows if he takes a shot against Lout, he has to be very careful. So 40 seconds left.
Luka Augustine searching for that signature win here in his redshirt freshman year, and he is pushing the All-American to the end. On a night in which offense has been tough to find with these two, tied at 1, 20 seconds to go.
Oh my, heavy hips there by Luka Augustine.
Lout came in with some force, and it was just bottled with the strength of the hips there by Augustine, and we are heading to our second sudden victory of the night here at 174.
Sudden victory is just first point scored. Doesn't matter the takedown, it could be a penalty point, it could be a couple stall calls, it's just points.
First points.
Change of level it looked like for Augustine. 2-minute sudden victory. First one to score wins. If nothing is settled, we go to 2 30-second tiebreakers, alternating positions, wrestled to a completion. Lout trying to avoid that tiebreaker scenario, comes in on a shot, gives a tug at the back of the neck of Augustine. Looks like Lout is picking up his tempo a little bit more.
Exactly. And one of the things that Lout needs to do is not shoot straight on against Luka Augustine, because his hips are very good. He needs to create angles against Luka Augustine. The times that he has shot, it's been straight on, and Luka Augustine has good defense straight on. So therefore maybe a little misdirection, or maybe a sweep. There it is, he's gonna chase it, he's gonna chase it.
Center, back in the center.
Oh, the fans are calling Luka, Luka, Luka.
The Waynesburg fans in attendance making some noise. And we have a stoppage and I think some blood. So a blood timeout And I think it's Lout who's bleeding. Keith Gavin with some words of wisdom to his young freshman. What's the message right now in the pit corner?
Pit corner is, hey, let's stay in there and continue to fight, hand fight. Let's not extend ourselves on shots.
Here's our Tuesday college basketball doubleheader right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Blake Henson and Pitt host Louisville at 7 Eastern. Then we head to Charlottesville for NC State and number 6 Virginia. Tuesday college basketball doubleheader right here on ACC Network. 35 seconds, sudden victory. Tied at 1.
That seems to be the best opportunity for Lout. It is kind of dragging to one side and not going head up with Augustine. Once again. Man, these guys are hand fighting hard. They're going hard. It looks like it's going to be decided on the mat now.
Lout trying to stick his underhook in, but he won't have enough time. Augustine is going to hold position, and we go to 2 30-second tiebreakers. And keep in mind, they are wrestled the full 30 seconds. They flip of the disc. It comes up green.
Red.
Augustine will start underneath, but first, another blood timeout as they will work to try to corkscrew that lip or nostril. Not sure where the blood's originating. Looks like it's the nose, so they will go back to work on Clay Lau.
In this position, you got to lean with the returning All-American who's been in these tough matches, the blood round matches, the round of 12. Who knows? I've been here before, but because Luka Augustine has gotten this far against an All-American, look at him smiling over there. That's a good show, feeling good about himself. But because Luka Augustine has been in this match as long as he has, you got to think that he's a little more confident that he can get away from the All-American.
Wait for me. Bottom man set, cover, nice pause. Yep.
Riding time gets reset. We start at zeros, and how about that explosion off the whistle by Augustine? I think that one even caught Lout off guard.
At this point, Lout, if he doesn't get a takedown here, he's got to go neutral. Because that was
1.3 seconds.
Yeah, he's got to go neutral.
This crowd is really dialed in now.
He's got to go neutral. He's got to go neutral. He's got to go neutral. No, we're not. It's neutral. So let's see what the All-American has. He's going to have to come at him.
Upset alert here at 174 with the redshirt freshman Luka Augustine. The All-American Clay Lau needs a takedown. Big snap by Lau.
Woo! Woo!
No control.
No control yet. He's got to get this. This is where the All-American is. Can Augustine fight it off? Short time. He's going to keep the whizzer. He kept the whizzer. Signature win by the redshirt freshman over the returning All-American and returning ACC champion for the home crowd, Luka Augustine. Here it is, the last little bit, but what does Luka Augustine do? He keeps a tight whizzer and gets his first win over the All-American.
Tomorrow night at 8:30 Eastern, the Nothing But Net crew will break down the day in the ACC with highlights and analysis of all the men's games and look ahead at the best games on the schedule in the coming week. That's coverage you can only find in one place. It's right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Rock, there's a reason I kind of turn away from you during the action. It would be tough to focus, my good friend. You are something.
One of these days, I'm going to become cool and just call a match sitting down, maybe for a GoFundMe, for some charity. If I could sit down for a whole match somebody donate some money because I'm embarrassed again. Every week I'm embarrassed.
Man, you come up with a new move every week. So good for the sport. Gavin Kane, North Carolina, 184, 13th in the country, 18-4 this year. And here comes Reese Heller. He's ranked 18th, 15-3 this season. He's the reigning ACC Wrestler of the Week following his fall over Hunter Bolin last Friday night.
This is another sneaky good match. 125 was won, and that certainly delivered big time. But both of these guys are really good. When I say really good, like you wouldn't be surprised if you see them wrestling Friday night to become an All-American.
Kane certainly appears to have turned the corner this year. He wasn't really getting the usual results early in the season, but he has turned it around. He has won 12 matches in a row entering tonight. 2-0 in the ACC. His last loss was in the Big Easy in New Orleans at the Journeyman Collegiate National Duels. Lost to Aaron Brooks by fall in the opening minute.
Wrestle through that.
You take a look at his losses, Rock. Caleb Romero, Ohio State, 6-4. He was shut out by Matt Finesilver of Michigan. Also took a loss in the Southeast Open. Oh, that's been it, though, for him. Since the calendar flipped to December, really past New Orleans, he's been perfect.
And we see that Gavin Kane is from the state of Georgia. We saw Georgia last week with Caleb Henson, and they're continuing to produce.
Heller trying to get off his Russian tie, trying to get the 2-on-1, had the arm for a moment.
Good hips there by Kane, got him low. And yes, they're brothers, and sometimes brothers wrestle differently, but good shot. But that's what the Hellers enjoy doing. It's called sit the corners, but that's sick defense there by Gavin Kane, and he goes right back to his shot. Heller's back to the position where he feels good.
No control.
No control here. And he's sliding his hips. He's trying to get a double. But Heller is sitting down, and no. What good wrestling there by Gavin Kane.
1,001.
Really good
1,002.
wrestling there by both wrestlers. But Kane came out on top.
Both wrestlers taking their shots. We saw Kane fire a couple, countered by Heller's 2 offensive shots, but it's Kane when the dust settles who gets the takedown late. Now Gavin Kane will try to ride him out for the final few moments here in this first period. And a 2-0 lead for the sophomore from Milton, Georgia. Took a while to get the offense going, and it came from defense.
Once again, they're sliding, trying to get hips down. Looks like the double was going to come, but excellent balance by Kane. And then Kane goes right into a shot. And here's a takedown, tries to roll, but Kane blocked it with his right hand and came out on top. Fantastic scrambling, fantastic wrestling by both wrestlers. Just a little more from Kane.
This has to feel good for Pitt. They are 2-7 in duels against North Carolina since they joined the ACC. And talked about Keith Gavin. He had not defeated North Carolina in the previous 5 matchups. But he is going to change that this year, and this Panther train just keeps rolling for Pitt. Sit out here by Heller. Good job by Kane staying with him.
And Kane is over a minute of riding time. He's doing a good job of doing a smart ride. He's not keeping his hips too tight, because Hellers are very good when people keep their hips tight, because people get out of their position. So you have to have loose hips with the Hellers.
One green neutral.
1 minute.
Straight on shot there by Kane. His head was down, though, not a real good attack.
Keep working to score. Good work.
Easy job there by Reese Heller to fend it off. Kane, though, with 1:26 of riding time, 2-1 advantage. Just like the Hellers are wrestling together here at Pitt, Gavin Kane knows a thing or two about having a brother on the team. His older brother, Devin, wrestled for North Carolina. As you see some of the counter offense from Reese Heller, switching to the double, but look at Kane. Sprawl back action by Kane, then he steps on the gas for offense of his own. No control yet. Kane with both of his feet in, and now he's going to try to drag Heller back on.
He's got to get a baseball grip and slowly slide it. You don't want to go too high and bring the foot up. I'm impressed with the defense of Gavin Kane there. Really impressed with it. So, scramble action, and this is where I thought it was over. I mean, he's riding, but look at the balance and the hips, and he almost created his offense to score.
Okay.
Very competitive 2-1 match with lots of action.
Fingers.
Are you surprised Kane chose neutral here to start the third?
No, and that's what I would have told him to do, because he showed more abilities to score from neutral, and the Hellers are very, very good on top. Oh, low shot. That was low and quick, but look at this sick defense by Kane. I mean, if you're Heller, you got to say, what do I have to do? I mean, his balance. His balance is like a gymnast. He just low single right there. I mean, he crossed the hips. Looks like he just got to drive across, but somehow he unhooked his foot and still kept his hips on top.
That's 4 or 5 legitimate deep shots by Reese Heller that he just hasn't been able to finish for 2.
And this is just willpower by Gavin Kane saying, you're not going to take me down. And Heller has continued to shoot. It's only 2-1, and these guys, I mean, they're putting on a show here. This is how you end a dual meet. Action. So now he's got the side. Now he's got the angle. Oh, look at the sneakiness. Look at the sneakiness of Kane.
Red, you're in control.
Oh, that was slick what he did. I'm telling you, this is the best that I've seen Gavin Kane wrestle this year. This season, rather. Not calendar year, this season. Wrestling really smart and over someone that had a fantastic pin last week and won the Midlands. Gavin Kane is starting to turn it on. Riding time is secured. And although Pitt has won the match, it was a good showing here by Gavin Kane. Oh, that was close.
2 on the reversal for Heller, and it was nearly a little bit more. And now, can he find a way to get a takedown? But he has the riding time. Yep, Kane with the riding time. One last shot there by Heller, and that is it. Gavin Kane has won 13 straight. 6-3, your winner by decision over the junior Reese Heller. So North Carolina falls here on the road to Pitt, and Rock, Keith Gavin and the Panthers all by their lonesome atop the ACC through 3 weeks.
And looking like the top team in the ACC. Looking like they want to be just a top team, not just in the ACC, but top team in the country. Really good job, and looking forward to next week.
The last time Pitt won the ACC regular season title, it was their first year in the conference, the 2013-2014 campaign. On their way, a big showdown next week with North Carolina State. That's a story here from the Peterson Event Center. Pitt 21, North Carolina 11. To watch this match and a variety of our matches on replay, log on to the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Alongside Rock Harrison, this is Sean Kinney saying good night from the Steel City.